Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Knight of Cups. And we have the Devil. And we have Six of Swords. Okay. This can be a bit of a misstep that you're recognizing, and having Six of Swords can be getting to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, or I don't feel like this is in the best interest to be doing. When we have Knight of Cups, this can be the part of us that when we're feeling something, we can want to act on behalf of it, but having the Devil there can be like something being quite skewed actually. Having the Six of Swords can be this realization, it can be this understanding of it. So it can be like, I wanted to do that, or I wanted to go in this direction, or I feel more like this is related to action that's been being taken, or like something that's coming up and coming out for you. But rather than continuing to go down that path, this feels like an understanding that that's not really going to accomplish what you want here. Understanding that and then moving forward so you feel like you can sort of get out of that loop there. So yeah, I get the feeling of this feeding into something, but when we have that Devil there, it's feeding into something that we don't really end up satisfied at the end of the day with it. It's not really what we're looking for on the deepest level. And so even though it can feel tempting to go in that direction, or it can be feeding into those like lower impulses that we have, at the same time, when you take a step back and you look at this and you sort of get out of that trance that you can go into, that we all can go into, you take a look at that and you're like, I don't want to really play that game anymore. But having Six of Swords shows that there's an understanding of that. This isn't just like stepping away from something but not really understanding what was going on. I'd say with the Six of Swords there's an understanding of what had been happening. Also too, with the Devil, we can have things can be misconstrued and we can think one thing, it can be something else. So it takes really inspecting this and taking a closer look at it to really understand the power and the hold that this has over you, the influence that this has over you, and ultimately to understand this so that it can be integrated. When the Devil is there, it can be something where we're like really firm on that, like this is a compromise that I'm willing to make here, and then you see that it's not all that it's cracked up to be, and then finally you can move forward from that, feeling like that's the better option for you, so you're not stuck within that anymore, because the Devil will very much keep you stuck within something where it ends up restricting you in so many ways, and to be so limited to begin with and then be in a situation like that, it's something that you really give your power away at the end of the day. You can be in a spot where you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want that to be the way that I'm working through this. And I feel too like you've already come so far and you've already crossed so many roads to get to where you are. Having this pop up can be something that's been a big thing that you've been dealing with, and also now at this point I feel like there's a deeper understanding of it, so you really can move forward. And I'm seeing the Empress, which is a much better trade out. It's like you're trading the Devil out and you're connecting with the Empress. So instead of outsourcing your power, instead of giving it away, instead of being in that thing where you feel like you're stuck, this is moving to a place where you are the source that you're going to be connecting with. And this can be a lesson in empowerment for you. It can be a lesson when it comes to your energy, your Venus energy. It could definitely be part of this, having the Empress here. Maybe too, you were going into overdrive about something, but when the Devil's involved, it can be difficult to, you kind of lose your perspective. So being in that place of Six of Swords is a really amazing thing to see, because it really can be hard to have perspective. It can be hard to take that step back, but I'm seeing very much that's what's going on here. And throughout this, you walk away with a deeper understanding of yourself and your energy. Yeah, I'm getting this again about it. It was feeding into something that was not helpful to you at the end of the day. That Knight of Cups does feel like a bit of a tug of war. I'm seeing it be connected with Five of Swords. So this can be, do I do this? Do I do that? I feel like I'm being pulled all around or pushed all around by the energy. But having the Devil there is that the Devil on your shoulder, it's going to be that low impulse energy that's coming through, and having to figure out what to do with that. And ultimately connect with the pure space within your heart. If you are resting within that, this is something you're going to be able to work through, and you'll be able to keep your head moving through this. Otherwise, it's somewhere where you can get a bit lost. Kind of like a maze. Simultaneously, you have the option not to go down that route. Some of you can be... I'm seeing Four of Swords underneath the Devil. You can be taking a break from whatever this is. You can be pausing. Not engaging. This will be something that feels like it drains your energy too. Ultimately. That's not to say, when we have the Devil, it can be something that immediately, like maybe there's a bit of excitement there. However, at the end of the day, it can be something that you do feel like drains you, and it really does impact your faculties as well, which is why it's so tricky, because when we get involved in something like that, sort of like your logic can go out the window. You can be not thinking the most clearly. It just skews things. So to be able to find your way, to be able to navigate through that and find your way out, I feel like is a really huge triumph. Because Devil sort of keeps you in there, and your vision is blurred when you're there, and so it can be hard to find your way out, and the whole time it's promising that it's going to deliver what you want. Meanwhile, it keeps you away from what you really want and what really is possible and what really will feel satisfying at the end of the day. Like what is tangibly able to come together because it's aligned, and also what you will feel happy with. This is going to help you move towards what you actually want. I'm seeing Six of Wands on the bottom of the deck, so I'd say that this is still a process where you are figuring things out still. Working through this mentally, then figuring out what to do with your energy, what's going to be productive here for you to be doing, what's going to be effective here for you. When we have the Devil, we could be very carried away thinking that we want something, thinking that something is going to be the right fit. With Six of Swords and the Nine of Cups, this is the actual real fit. So you're transitioning to what is going to be the real deal for you, rather than something that's never going to fully deliver with the Devil. And even though you can feel like you're still battling that, the Devil, we have Five of Wands, so this can be something that you're still in the midst of processing and figuring out. It feels like you're moving into more of a restorative place for yourself, and that this is something that's really going to enhance and strengthen your energy, and really feeling connected with that within you. Keep in mind too that when the Devil is involved, usually it's connected with something outside of ourselves, that the Devil will very much convince you that energy too. That's what we're speaking of. We're speaking about the archetype of the energy and the way that our brains work cognitively when we're connecting with that. It will convince you that you need it in order to function, and in order to do this or that, or like be happy or whatever, you know, or to have the relationship you want or do the job. It's going to convince you that that is what you need, and that's the only way and it is skewed. It is going to be that thing outside of you. You're going to feel like you're constantly chasing it because there is that lack of integration, because there's that looking outward for the thing that you're really going to find internally. So it has you, it's like a misdirecting of you, of your focus of your consciousness. And it has you looking everywhere else except the place where you're really going to find it. And that's why it's so tricky, and that's why it messes with us, because it's like anything but introspection. It's anything but looking within. And it's like this seeking, this searching externally, that's going to be the thing. That doesn't mean that stuff going on externally isn't important. That does hold weight. When the devil is involved, something is skewed. It's not, I'm living my life and I'm tending to things and I am in this like human experience that I'm having, and those things are important. Those things are important. Those things are part of what we tend to. When the devil's involved, something is wrong. Something is skewed. Something is not clear. Something has become very polarized. And when something is empowering, it feeds your energy. When something is not empowering, it will pull your energy. So it will leave you feeling drained. And it can also keep you in a cycle where you feel like for some reason we're convinced that we have to keep feeding into it, even though we know that something's going on and something doesn't feel right within that. The devil is going to be excessive in some way, and that's why you can't have balance when that's there. That's why it can't really be stabilized. The devil's going to be a very fleeting energy where you're like, I have to get this just right, and it's like you can't really maintain that. So it's not going to work out in that way. This feels like that bigger understanding of it. Also, too, the devil is that energy that we think that once we achieve those ends, that there's going to be, like, everything will fall into place then, and that's also not the case as well. There are other things that it can feel like that with, just not a thing like this. So that's not to say that that feeling of like everything's good and everything's okay and things feel stable, that's not to say, or things like I feel good with things and I feel at peace to things. That is achievable, just not when the devil is involved. This is a different type of situation than that. And so it really does have you chasing your tail, all to try to get to this end of something, and then everything sort of like falls out at that point because it's not real. So that's also why the devil is tricky too, is because it's like convincing you, this is the answer, this is the answer, this is the thing, go towards it. And we like do everything that we can to try to achieve those ends and then get there, and it's like, I thought that this was going to be different, or like I was really convinced that that was the answer, and then it's not. So, but the devil really can take shape to whatever of those visions we are vulnerable to, and really latches onto that. Whatever that thing is that you feel like you're missing there, it will attempt to be the answer, yet never will be. Ending with the Six of Wands, I definitely see you coming out of this situation and things actually being fine. With the Devil and the Four of Swords, this does feel like a recharging that you're taking after going through this process, and this being still something that I feel like you're still tending to this and still working through it. I don't see you completely out of this cycle, but seeing that Six of Wands, if you continue to put the effort in, you are going to extricate yourself from that cycle, and this will be something that you can it will then be integrated and it won't be a thing anymore. Meaning it'll be that energy of like leaving something in the past. It'll be over and done with. Just one of many accomplishments. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.